mother. Still, she's
Right,
a mother,
but
and
it's still
she still have that loving with them. I understand where you come from,
okay.
but it's like it could be a thin line. She could be doing it genuinely too, because you got to think about the kids. Uh, yeah, what they say is gonna, play a strong hold on her future, but
Right.
too, she knows probably this is probably the last time for a while that she'll be able to, whatever. And then for them to have a positive look for before she leaves is important for the kids too. You know what I'm saying, because they're young, they don't really don't understand what's going on. They,
Understandable.
you know,
Understandable. But they now know that she was coaching these people, coaching their children because simplified the matters.
yeah, she was
Uh let's see, what was that?
the girl who was reading the lines or
Yeah, it
memorized.
was inappropriate inappropriate contract contact. What I'm sorry, what 6-year-old or whatever her age is that's under 10. How do you know those words?
Yeah.
I didn't know those words. I mean
She
I
was
mean
that girl was coached.
mhm. Now I can see if it's in the second grade or third grade, you probably wouldn't know those words. Unless you were like me at first grade, I was reading at a ninth grade level, but still, but
Yeah.
just saying, just saying.
Oh boy.
Do you remember which one of your siblings at home, when you were at home, which one of your siblings used to get in trouble a lot?
I don't know.
You don't know? Did you get in trouble a lot? Hey, love, how are you doing?
Good.
Good. Where's your playmat? Hello, Miss Hope.
Hi, Mommy.
How are you doing?
Good.
Good. How's school going?
Okay.
Okay, what does okay mean?
I'm sorry, I just gotta say this. I'm sitting here thinking about this. I just gotta say this, man. I know my girl's bad, but every time she smiles, you know what it remind me of?
Oh goodness. What?
You ever see that movie Tales from the Hood?
Terry.
I'm sorry. I'm serious. This ain't no funeral home. This ain't the dino. Welcome to hell, motherfucker.
She is so beautiful. So mean.
I just had to say that though. I just had to say. I mean, she's a pretty girl, but every
She's
time
very beautiful.
she's a pretty girl, but every time she does her mouth like that, that's what it's remind me.
When she smiled,
No, when she had that cricket around her, cracking
oh
her
my
smile.
goodness
I'm like,
gracious. Oh my gosh,
I'm like, please, you're a pretty girl. Just don't smile like that, man. Don't stop it, stop it. Otherwise, I have to roast you over it. Roast you. I'm telling you, that's what she looked like, though, for real.
goodness, Terry. Push play.
I'm sorry.
Push play.
I'm pushing play.
I got one C.
You got a C? Were you disappointed about that?
Okay.
Know how that feels. Hey, Isaiah.
I
Hi. Are you okay? You need some water?
no.
A day after being taken from their parents' custody, a large lump is discovered on the abdomen of the child that now sits on the stand to testify. Isaiah tells the court that whilst he was under the care of his parents, he had told them and his siblings many times about this large bump that bothered him very much. He states that he was never taken to a doctor or a medical expert to investigate what it may be. The parents claim that the bump wasn't large at all when the child was living under their care, and seem very surprised at their son's testimony. This confusion can be most prominently seen on Therian's face, as her husband questions the boy about the size of it.
Could you describe it with your hands?
This?
Then she's doing it again. She's doing it again.
She's smiling.
She's doing it again, man. I'm like,
she is smiling.
I don't know, man. There's something about that smile don't look right to me, though. I'm just saying, there's something about that smile. It's not
She's
looking.
seeing her husband interact with their kids. She's
No,
happy.
I mean, I'm just
It's a
saying.
love moment.
I understand all that, but she could have done this outside the courthouse.
Well,
Otherwise,
no, actually, no, she couldn't. She's kind of locked up right now, so
no, I mean, before all this shit happened, she
she
could have did
probably
this.
was.
Well, we heard. God damn it. But damn, it's just that smile. There's something wrong with that smile.
Oh my goodness!
And I'm not talking about the gap or anything like that.
I know.
I'm speaking on a spiritual sense. Like, there's something wrong about that smile, though, man. I don't trust that smile.
Trust it.
That smile has some behind the scene things going on down there.
Goodness.
Just saying.
Let's find
Can
out.
you lift your hands up a little bit higher so we can see, Isaiah? Lift them up high. All right, thank you.
Going across your abdomen. Going across your stomach.
When you were at home, did you throw up?
Yes.
When do you remember throwing up at home?
Seven. When I was 7.
Do you remember being sick at home?
Yes.
And how were you sick?
I just kept on throwing up.
You threw up at home? Okay. Did you throw up in your bed or where'd you throw up?
In the bathroom.
Okay. Do you remember mommy asking you about that bump on your tummy?
No.
Do you remember mommy let me change my question. Do you remember mommy asking you if that bump bothers you?
Yes.
Do you remember mommy asking you if the bump hurt you?
No.
Do you remember when you took a bath that mommy always asked you about, does this bump bother you?
No.
You don't remember?
Wait a minute.
They should have been taken to the doctor.
Wait a minute.
He should have. Oh my goodness.
Wait a minute. First they said, well, we didn't know it was the bump there. Now they're saying they saw the bump.
Well, I think they said they didn't know it was that large. That's what I heard. Maybe.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That they didn't know. They weren't aware of the size. But still, for something being a foreign object being on your child's body or your own body for a length of time, at some point you need to go get it checked out. It shouldn't go on too long. That shouldn't go on. Like if it's a bump, I don't know if it's a regular like a bump, a pimple. I highly doubt it when there is a, okay, that's normal. But as a like if it looks like a lump, and I understand them not wanting to go to the doctor on every little thing because I'm the same way because as a Black family or like me, I know from personal experience, these people are quick to call on you for stupid stuff, or I mean, I've never had CPS in my life, but I know that, I've been questioned simply because I'm looking out for the welfare of my child, and then it's like a lot of times the doctors don't care or they don't trust you. I've had times where, for example, Naira, when she was young, I kept saying, things. I took her to, I can't even count how many doctors, at least between 15 and 20 doctors. All because her ears, she couldn't hear. I was like, my daughter's not hearing. She can't hear. She's going, I was like, she's going deaf. I've had doctors telling me that I'm making it up. I'm crazy. Or I'm not a doctor. I didn't know what I was talking about. Or if I bring her in again, they're going to call CPS. Or because but kind of find out, or no, they kept saying it was allergies and stuff like that too. Come to find out, when I demanded to see a specialist, because it got to the point she went completely deaf in both ears, I demanded to see a therapist. I'm not therapist. I demanded to see a specialist. I went to the specialist. He was like, any doctor should have had you come in to have surgery. He was like, there's no medication in the world. She needs surgery. She needs surgery now. And I told him at that point she was 4. She's been dealing with that issue since birth for 4 years. So it's like I understand not wanting to go to the doctor, but at least make the attempt. You know what I'm saying? To where if something like this happens, it doesn't fall on you. It falls on the doctors being neglectful. And so Yeah.
I'm
But they should
sorry.
have took their child to the doctor.
Well, I'm sorry. I would have had to sue that doctor or stuff because of, you was negligent like a motherfucker. And it's not
It
even
was,
about. It was not even
it,
about the money though.
it wasn't even for Naira's situation. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about Don't.
Yeah, that it wasn't even just one doctor. No, I literally took her from doctor to doctor to doctor, and I did the same thing with me. That's what I'm saying. Like when it comes down to us going to the doctors, they look at us as we're a joke. You know, with
Right.
me, I'm vitamin D deficient, and I didn't know this. It's to the point to where I have symptoms of someone with RA and someone who has lupus.
Right.
I went to again. I can't count and tell you. I went to different doctors for about like 2 years straight. Continue. Like every time they'll say nothing's wrong with you, they'll do all this tests and everything, blood work. Doctors again told me to my face that I'm making it up in my head. I even had to a point to one doctor saw my hands it went from my pinky all the way to my thumb.
Mhm.
Each finger. I was sitting there and I was like, yeah, my fingers, they'll just swell up and they'll hurt. You know, I was like, matter of fact, I was like, he's doing it now. She sat there and saw each finger swell up. Test results came back negative. But see, the thing is, she went behind my back and tested for HIV, which I'm like, you can test me for that, that's fine, but don't say you're testing for one thing and then go ahead and test for this, you know, or whatever. So anyway, she tested. So rather than her testing for, she was supposed to test for lupus and RA. Rather her testing for lupus, she tested for HIV. You know, and then everything came back negative, and I was like, and I said, well, I'm not understanding if what's going on with me. And I was like, she said, oh, you're making it up in your head. And I had to, because we'll just be an email or whatever message. I messaged her back. I was like, there's no way I can make it up in my head when you saw yourself. My fingers are swelling up. That doesn't make sense. It's because I'm vitamin D deficient. I'm vitamin D and B12. And at that point, I was in critical to where she should have sent me to the hospital. And so, and again, I went 2 years bouncing from doctor to doctor to doctor because no one wanted to take me seriously, you know? So, but in their case, they should have went to the doctor. But yeah, I understand not wanting to go because it's just so hard to find a doctor who cares. It's so hard to find a doctor who would try to understand. So I get not wanting to go, but when it comes down, especially to your child having a lump, I would have took my baby to the hospital, or not to the hospital, to the doctor, made an appointment, checked it out, you know. And even with Naira, she has scoliosis. It's funny. She had a checkup, a regular routine checkup. They did the scoliosis check and everything. 2 days after that checkup, I looked at her back and I saw, just looking at her back, I was like, this girl got scoliosis. And I just by looking at her standing up straight up, because her shoulders were like that. And I was like, this girl got scoliosis. I said, turn around. This is when she was 6. I said, turn around. She turned around. You can tell I saw it. And I had her bend over. I did scoliosis. And you can see it. And I'm like, these doctors just checked her 2 days ago. You know what I'm saying? This didn't just happen overnight.
Right.
As curved. And then when I went to take her to the doctor, they was like, yeah, it's curved. Then they, when I took her to the specialist, it was like, who discovered it? And I said, I did. It was like, the doctor did. And I was like, no, she just had her physical. He was like, I don't understand how they couldn't see this. And I was like, because they don't care, So, and it's like, when it comes down, but at the same time, you have to fight and be an advocate for your kids. Right. So she should have that. That's them. That's on them neglecting their with that part. If they haven't taken, I don't care if it's a little bump. I don't care, but if it's been there for too long and haven't tried to go down, they should have taken their kids to the doctor so they can play down. Right. That's on their fault.
Yeah, but the way they're talking, they're definitely not. They're definitely playing because.
Yeah, they are.
Your vernacular is a little impeccable for you to be a sociopath.
They are playing.
But then again, some of the most intelligent motherfuckers are narcissists. Well, the most motherfuckers who think they're intelligent are narcissists and shit. Though, you know what I'm saying? So, because they know seriously, they think they know every motherfucking thing, but don't know shit.
Oh no.
Been a long time. Do you remember scratching like this?
Yes.
And what side was the bump on when you were at home? Was it on both sides or just one side?
Both.
It was on both sides? Can you answer out loud for me, Isaiah, please?
Yes.
Using your tummy, how big this was? Was it just over here or just over here? Or was it all the way across?
All the way across.
It was all the way across?
Wait a minute, there was something wrong with her kidneys.
No, she said all the way across. It wasn't just on the sides. It was all the way across.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is kidney, if something's wrong with your kidney, it can actually go across your abdomen, your sides, and everything.
That's crazy.
Yeah, probably something wrong with her kidneys.
I think they said something about cancerous, but I don't know. Maybe I misheard, but I don't know. But they should have take that baby to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you give me your answer out loud, please, Isaiah?
The bump is an abdominal tumor caused by a very rare form of skin cancer and had been growing for many years. The medical expert who examined Isaiah would go on to say that this tumor was the most extensive that he had ever seen, and if treated earlier, would have been a very simple surgery with an almost 100% rate of success after the first operation. Because it was left so late, it was going to take multiple surgeries now to remove, and even with treatment, has the possibility to take the boy's life. This leads us into the closing arguments, and the legally inexperienced, self-representing parents would have an opportunity to present first.
Dr. Ash could not identify a diagnosis with any medical certainty that Ricardo Jr. has suffered mental pain due to an alleged lack of mental stimulation and social interaction, as in fact he received both daily from his parents. I'll call this reasonable doubt for counts 1 and 3. I hope I haven't put you to sleep, because now I'd like to ask you not only for a verdict of, let me get it right this time, not guilty, but that you let Yah's people go so that they serve him. I assert that we are not guilty of all 7 counts of this indictment. So please, I request of you that you let Yah's people go. Thank you.
Throughout the
And the neglect, definitely they neglect, I would say abuse because of the older boy. And false imprisonment. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't even know what all she's being charged with.
You know, me either.
I feel like she may have been like the ringleader behind it, or the voice behind it. And the father, he doesn't seem too active in this. I mean, I've seen him get up, but I feel like she's the Bigfoot in the game. She's the one who's doing it.
She is, because most of the time, you notice women are the discipliners with the children, though, you know what I'm saying? And in this case, I don't know what the hell she was thinking, but there's other ways of, I mean, like I said, if I had children, I'm not gonna whoop them. I know I'm saying go pick a switch, because that's who the fuck is really stupid enough to pick their own ass whooping.
Well, back in the day, we ain't never did it, but I've heard and saw people.
Yeah, I never really. Well, yeah, I did. I ain't gonna lie. Shit, I was 6 years old. They told me, go pick me a switch, and I picked the most thinnest, weakest one I could find.
Hey, gotta go back out there and get you another one. Don't let the people pick it themselves.
I was like, look, I ain't going outside. This is what you gotta use, man. Take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying?
What in the world happened? Let me see. Let me see it. I'm not gonna touch it. What happened? What happened? Tell me. I see. What happened?
The case, the inexperience of the defendant was rather obvious, as they fumbled with objections and had trouble with relevant questioning. Their closing statements really highlighted this inexperience with a short and unfocused presentation to the jury that didn't really say much other than, we aren't guilty because we aren't guilty. This case would have been a pretty difficult one for even an experienced defense attorney, and watching the prosecution present a scathing closing argument juxtaposed against the defense's rambling mess is quite a sight to see.
He suffered muscle atrophy that caused him pain. He suffered bone disease. He suffered a fungus growing on his skin because he did not shower or bathe for months and was never even given clean clothes. He suffered mental pain, and that's proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Sadness, loneliness, extreme boredom is painful. In the future, he will suffer mental pain because of what these defendants did. He will struggle with relationships. Who takes a 12-year-old son and puts them in that position without malice? Who changes their life so dramatically in such a short period of time that you don't know it, that you don't know what you're doing, that you don't know the likely outcome of what you're doing to that child? This was his life. That's it. You see his entire life for months on that screen. He had nothing else. Pride. Let's talk about the words that she put on his wall. Pretentious? Who's pretentious? There's pretentious. There's, I've got all the answers, and I can do what I want with my children. That's pretentious. Putrid? Putting your child in an environment where fungus grows on the skin is sickening and is putrid. Ruin 2 of their children's lives. Ignorance. They want to tell you how smart they are. And they did tell you all about their degrees, and they're ignorant. How are they ignorant? Ricardo was in a swimming pool on the shallow end, and he, like all kids, are growing up. And guess what? He, like the best of us, don't want to spend our lives in the shallow end. We grow in the swimming pool of life when we go to the deep end. That's how we all grow. If we didn't do that, we would all still be 12. But Ricardo made a mistake because she said, "You want me to help you on the deep end?" And he said, "No." And what's the one thing you never do in that house? Tell Mom no. He told her he didn't need any help. And he tried it on his own. And guess what? Like all of us, sometimes it works for us, and sometimes stepping out doesn't. So yeah, she needed to save him. But she was mad at him and called it prideful that he was trying to develop himself further. And that is such a key story here. The key story is that they are under her thumb, and they can't do anything without her. That's what life in that house was like. Exile. Who exiles their own child? Only evil does that. Only evil, not Ricardo. Only evil does that. These are her words. But they don't apply to Ricardo, they apply to her. He was 12. Those are his parents. Who convinced him that he deserved to rot in a blue small prison cell for months? Who convinced him that that was right? The only people that ever communicated with him convinced him that that's the right thing to do to a 12-year-old, and they're blaming it on him. Defendants want to try to convince you that this was a happy home. And it's a happy home if you ignore somebody dying of cancer. And it's a happy home as long as you don't talk about the pink elephant in the room. And nobody talked about the pink elephant in the room. Only it wasn't a pink elephant. It was a 12-year-old stuck in a blue room. So as long as everybody ignored that, it was a happy home. And that's what they taught their children to live home-like life. Ricardo and Isaiah will pay the price for the rest of their lives in one form or another. There's only one verdict that will speak the truth. Guilty on all charges.
You know what? He was actually speaking facts, though, man.
But what are the charges?
I think they tell him at the end or something like that because they didn't do it in the beginning. But to me, all the evidence and everything else and the manipulation and that smile, it's that smile The smile has some different
Different vibes.
vibes, man. That smile, there's something behind that smile, man. That smile just ugh. That smile like a motherfucking snake who had teeth. I swear, man. That smile is it's a different vibe, man. That smile is just if she didn't have that vibe, if she didn't have that vibe, the smile would be beautiful, but just that smile, just that that's around you, and the fact that you have a shadow on you, though, man.
Well, you gotta also think too, like you said earlier, it does seem like she is a narcissist. It does, and you gotta understand like their controlling mechanisms of how they control. Maybe that smile was, and then on top of that, she's losing that control. That's what it is too. She doesn't know how to handle it. A lot of narcissists they don't know how to handle when they lose control. And she can't act out. She's in a court setting. She's trying to win, so she has to figure out how to maintain control while losing control.
Right, exactly. Every businessman go through it though, you know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
If you think about the businesses that got cut closed down, you can tell they're going through some things though, because I know, especially Papa John, so he's not even controlling his own damn company.
I think he sold it because of what he did.
Yeah, it's because of what he did. But he didn't really, I see what he didn't really say anything that was, I mean, if that's the thing. But yeah, how dare you take his company down, man? I don't care. Look, I know what a nigga is, and I know that's not what I am. So shit, you wasn't talking to me. So shit, you wasn't talking to me. I ain't no nigga. I never have been, never will be. Shit.
He knew what he meant when he said it. He didn't mean it by what you're saying it as. He meant what.
But that's why this man lost nearly all his fucking business, all his companies and shit, though. You know what I'm saying?
Careful what you say.
But fuck him. He did it to himself. Though, you know what I'm saying? Fuck him. Shit, he did it to himself. Was spoke in private don't need to be publicized. You stupid motherfucker. What I mean is, you can say whatever the fuck you want privately, just don't break your privacy.
I'm glad it happened because I don't like shopping or spending money where people don't want me there anyway. There's plenty of places I refuse to go to. They have things I need, like, if I'm not wanted there, or if you're going to follow me around the whole store, I don't need to be here spending my money just so you can follow me around the whole store when I literally came in with minimum.
Right.
Just so you don't have to follow me. I don't like being followed. That's uncomfortable, or being treated badly. You know what I'm saying? Like by a staff because of the color of my skin. If you don't want me there, let me know.
But
I don't have to shop here.
But unfortunately, there's some stupid motherfuckers in our community. I'm just gonna be real about that shit, because I still see black motherfuckers walk around with Michael Kors clothes and purses and all this other shit. And the motherfucker was pretty saying that he does not want people that's not to shop in this front. It probably been a rumor, but I don't know.
I don't know. Someone said it was, someone think it was a rumor. Oh, Tommy Hilfiger.
I'm like, dude, how the hell? I got a question though, because I knew that was bullshit when I started. I was like, well, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on, motherfucker. How the fuck Tommy Hilfiger don't like niggas, but most of them is niggas? It's part of his advertising.
Yeah, I was young when that came out, and I was like, what? I
was like, nah.
And then we didn't have the internet the way we do, so you couldn't fact check anything as quickly and as easily. And then I was young.
Right.
When I heard it, I was young, and I didn't buy it. I mean, I didn't get it.
I mean, truthfully, I didn't buy Tommy Hilfiger either.
I wasn't a fan of him anyway, so.
And this shit was too expensive anyway. His shit was too expensive though.
So. We could have got it, but it wasn't a fan of his.
Right. I mean, the only thing I had with Tommy Hilfiger was a T-shirt. It cost $20. A T-shirt. I'm like, hell no, I ain't buying this bullshit. I ain't walking around this shit. It's too damn expensive.
Both parents are found guilty on 3 of the 7 charges of child abuse and are sentenced to 20 years in prison each, with another 10 on probation. During the sentencing of the two, the judge had some final words to say which really struck a chord with me.
There is not a parent in this room, there is not a parent in this world that is perfect. But as parents, we need to tread lightly with the responsibility that we have. What has been a key theme throughout the evidence in the trial of this case is what is reasonable and what is not reasonable. And being entrusted with that precious gift of being a parent, having life experience, financial resources, the educational background that each of you have, that light bulb never came on for you as to where that line of reasonableness should have been drawn. And you far exceeded anything that could possibly be considered reasonable in your treatment. Children have an uncanny ability to be resilient, to be malleable, to be adaptable, and that's even more heartbreaking in this case because your oldest child adapted to those unreasonable, inhumane, and unlawful circumstances that were imposed on him. Children have a gift that is an uncanny gift for unconditional love and forgiveness. Yet you came to the decision that your child did not deserve forgiveness for taking food, a book, a DVD player. For that, he no longer deserved to be forgiven by his parents. It's incomprehensible. The sentence that I'm going to impose is going to be the same sentence for each defendant.
It baffles me that academics such as these two, who attained high levels of education, would engage in behavior such as this. In a court hearing prior to the trial, Thurian claims that she chose to have a miscarriage at home with no medical care, and that some of her children had witnessed this lifeless child being born. They all named the child Daniel, and he was buried in their backyard, although Thurian states that none of her children had helped with the burial. In addition to this, the Wimbushes wrote a letter to the DA office a few months before trial. The letter had asked the charges to all be dropped, and also requested $500 million in restitutionary redress. After the sentencing, the parents are not allowed to have any contact with the children.
You see what I mean? I'm like, tell me you're a narcissist without telling me you're a narcissist.
This is crazy.
How's she gonna sue them? All the evidence is right there, like what are you doing? You're not gonna win. What are you doing?
And that's so dangerous for her to have a miscarriage and not go to the doctor.
Right, I'm saying, dude. She knows about her mental deficiencies, but she's not doing anything about it. She meets all six common traits of a toxic person. Seriously, she do.
Which are they?
She do.
What are they? What are they? I don't know what it is. I don't know what they are.
Oh, envy, green eye, jealousy, narcissism, 3 others. I forget the other 3. Shit. It'll come to me later though. But there's 6 traits of toxicity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Oh, the liar, the imaginer, or some. I'm probably getting it wrong, but
It'll come to you later.
Yeah, it'll come.
Until they are 21, and that contact must be initiated by the children. Ricardo Sr. regrets his actions and has said in an interview that he loves each of his children more than any.
Oh, he's the most hurt. He's the most hurt.
Yeah.
Well, out of them two, he's the most hurt.
Yeah, look at him. She stressed him out so much, he's losing his hair. I'm sorry, I had to do that. No, seriously, he is losing his hair though because of her.
That could be his natural hairline.
Yeah, you're right. He is that's his hairline. I'm just trying to be optimistic. You know what I'm saying?
Really.
anything, and that he accepts responsibility for the harm he caused. He hopes that one day he can be reunited with them all. He disclosed that he could have taken a plea deal to testify against his wife, but he chose not to. He said that they're both partners in parenting, that they are a team, and even though she called the majority of the shots, he could have put a stop to it at any time. I have many personal thoughts and opinions on this case, far too many to summarize into the ending here, but I will try capture the ones that sit at the front of my mind in this moment. Most of my thoughts do relate to the mother Therian, likely because she did most of the questioning and talking throughout the trial, and her husband was more of a silent supporter in the background. In my opinion, Therian has a lot of issues with control. I'm not one to claim that another is a narcissist, but she did exhibit traits of it. A point of interest that stood out to me was that in her first 2 days of court, she wore a prison outfit to trial, and her hair wasn't done. She looked like a prisoner, and she questioned her tortured son, Ricardo Jr., in a way that I couldn't help but to feel she was trying to punish him some more, to show him, look what you have done to us, look what you have done to the family. And the next day, when
she was good. She was almost good. She was almost good.
That was real good. That was a good point.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it, noticed it, but I didn't pick up on it.
I mean, she was. I picked up on it. Like, she's good though, because wait, why are you dressed so nice in this other? But you say, "Look at me! Look what you have done." It's because
I didn't know that was by choice.
Oh yeah, that's my choice. She chose to wear that. You know, it's because after the other day, she was sharing her street clothes though. You know what I'm saying?
She's good.
She almost got away with it. She almost got away with it if it wasn't for those pesky kids.
So silly.
When Ricardo Jr. was no longer to be on stand, she was dressed up in smart attire. No more prison outfit. No more image of suffering. It is a small nitpick, but it did stand out to me. Another point that stood out was Therian's face as she told Ricardo Jr. that she loved him.
That's all I have. Thank you so much. I love you, handsome.
She's looking down as she says it, and doesn't look back to him throughout her words, nor does she wait for his response before she leaves. He says that he loves her back, but she didn't wait around for him to say it. This was not the same treatment that she gave her other children. I can't help but to feel as though she despises Ricardo Jr., and this comes through with her saying that he doesn't
Did you get what I was saying though?
Yeah.
Man, you could tell she because she was doing all this like Stevie Wonder without the glasses and all this. You know what I'm saying? And she closing her eyes, not really giving him directly contact. He always I just called to say I love you type shit. She doing all this.
I actually like that song.
I'm yours. Look at that.
Oh boy.
Moncherie, jungle fever. She got jungle fever. You know what I'm saying? That's what the fuck she was looking like.
Oh goodness.
Look at that. Oh. Look at that. Oh.
Barry,
Charles Ray, look at that. Charles Ray, look at that. Ray Charles. Tell your pa. Tell your pa. Tell your other song. Yeah.
Barry.
Yeah.
Deserve forgiveness. The window being spray painted over. Everything she did was to torture him. I can't begin to even comprehend why a mother would feel so much hate towards their own son. To me it looks like she just said that she loved him for the jury, and quickly moved away to show him that he meant nothing to her. I do agree with the prosecutor's closing statements, that she needed control over this family, and to have a son that wasn't under her control would have driven her insane. What does one do with that? You lock him in the basement until he learns to be controlled. It's despicable. It also seemed as though she was more focused on showing the jury what a loving mother—
Wait a minute. That's the same thing pimps do. You ever heard of a term called Georgia? Getting Georgia? You never heard that term? All right, basically, getting Georgia is this. You pick up a new girl, you bring her around, you wine and dine her, you feed her with every kinds of drugs that she want, and then you slip her a couple of drugs that she don't want though. You keep her up for 48 hours, and then you be the first one to taste the peach of the Georgia. Basically, you're fucking her before anybody else. Anybody else can get to it.
What is all the drugs? Well, I guess.
No,
Okay.
that's the way she doing her children like a pimp would have did to break a new woman. These are some of the tactics they use.
But locking them in a room? I'm not
Mm.
making a connection.
All right, they lock them in a room. They feed them all kinds of drugs. They take them out that room, wine and diner like with jewels and like dinners and fancy restaurants and all this. And say, "Whoa, this is a nice guy. He's wine and dine me, this, that, and the other." And then
Locking.
just
Okay, go ahead. Let me hear. Let me hear you.
all right. How can I put this?
No, go ahead. Finish saying what you're saying.
Well, someone don't lock him in a room or anything like that, but these are the tactics. Some of these, what she was doing to her children, is some of the tactics a pimp used to break a new woman, though. You know what I'm saying?
But I guess I'm confused of what tactics.
Like basically,
Like what? Like from the older one or for the younger one?
The older one.
Okay, so what?
Okay. Okay.
Give me an example of what she did.
All right, basically to break a disrespectful person is like this. Okay, you disrespect me for the last time. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to isolate you from everybody else. Okay, then I'm going to put you here so you will learn your so-called lesson of obedience. Okay. Then, in this case, lock in a room, only feed them once or twice a day, or sometimes none at all.
How you know these? How you know all this?
Well, I watch a lot of movies.
Watch movies?
Yeah, watch a lot of movies.
Are they documentaries or?
Some of them, yes.
Some of them, like what documentary?
Pimps Up, Hoes Down. And
American that is not a document. Is that? Let me look. Is that a documentary?
Yeah, it's from the from the series Pimp Up, Hoes Down. It's from the series of. It's from the same.
Who was it from?
It's from the same people who made Hookers at a Point.
I've never seen that. I've never heard of it.
Oh my god, you're such an L7.
I am a square, but I was once caught up in that in sex trafficking, and they had their ways. They have their ways of because I was a new girl, know.
Now, sex traffickers are a whole different ball game with whole different ball game.
It's the same thing with pimp.
But it's a whole different. It's like pimping times 5 type shit, though. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's really what it's basically the same. It's pimp because you have. It's basically the same.
Well, in a way, yeah.
Because you still got your pimp. You still have your. Now you have one. I mean, you have. You got all the ingredients there.
I mean, some of them have what they call bottom bitches. They go all over the other bitches. They like the main.
Yes.
Yeah. I know all about that too. You know what I'm saying?
But how?
Documentaries, movies.
What was the name of that documentary series? So I can look it up. I want to watch it.
Hoes, Pimps Up, Hoes Down, American Pimp.
I hate that title, but okay.
Well,
you didn't make it. You didn't make it, but right. I hate that title.
A movie called The Mac. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, let me look up the first one.
You might have to pay for the Mac though. But
this doesn't look like a documentary. Is it a doc? Oh, it is a documentary.
No, it's a movie. No, yeah.
It says documentary made in 1999. Mm-hmm. Isn't it? But it looks like it's a. Is it a real?
Yeah. There's a real pimp. Yeah, there's a real pimp.
I don't. This looks so trashy. Okay, what was the other one?
American Pimp.
That's gracious. Hold on, this is not getting off my screen. Okay, let me hit this. Get off my screen. It's not getting off my screen. Okay, American.
You know how far Pippin been Pippin.
Terry, yes, I know. Wait, that's not Valentine's Day.
It's the second oldest profession.
It's an indie film.
Yeah.
But it's a documentary. Let me look at this.
Oh, and this book called this book by what's his name?
Nicholas.
Oh, Iceberg Slim. That's his name. Iceberg Slim. He had a book out too, though. It gave like the breakdown of Pippin and everything, though. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
I read it though a couple times, but
that's crazy. It's horrible.
And plus, it doesn't hurt to have a couple of people who was in that lifestyle. But
what? Do you know people who were in that who were in the pimps? Do you know any of them?
The pimps and the hoes.
So you know, don't call them that because
that's what
some of them. No,
well,
I don't care. I don't care if anyone else say that. No, because for one, stop, Ellie. For one, because some of them are not trying to be in that lifestyle.
Right,
like me, I was not. I did not want to be there. But I immediately got that labeled. And if they had a bust, I would have had a prostitutes in charge on me because I was forced to do something I did not want to do.
Right.
And then so by me being forced to do something I did not want to do, I was automatically labeled as someone who I was not trying to be. I was tricked into that lifestyle, and I couldn't get. I was. No. It was. I'm not gonna say I couldn't get out, but it was difficult to get. I only got out by the grace of God. I put it like that.
Right.
Because I literally ran away, and I literally had to go get my child because they were gonna take her for payment. So, like, that's why, like, even like with the name.
Well, here's the thing, though. I didn't use that. I just used that name as a reference, not as in calling them.
Well, even as a reference, it's still bad.
But it's a reference, though.
That's still bad. That's just like calling me. Like, let's just say, if I was in that lifestyle, you would have called me a hoe. You see what I'm saying? And I was not doing it willingly.
Right. But
do you see my point?
I get your point. Well, I do apologize for that one. But
no, you don't get a point. This is not to make you feel bad or how. It's just to open your eyes to where, like, I don't think stop Ellie, because you're saying that's just like a slave and master type thing. The master, you're giving him the highlight and the glory of being the master. That's the same pimp. You give him the glory and the highlight of being a pimp. Then you have the slave who the what you would call a hoe. They are slaves. You see what I'm saying? And then
pretty much.
A hoe, but calling them a hoe, people automatically look at them. Oh, they just a hoe, so it doesn't matter. You know, and so people will look at that like that. And not realizing not half of the girls don't want to be there. Some of them I've seen, they willingly want to do it, but I really think that was brainwashed and conditioned.
Those are ones
because they were brainwashed and conditioned.
Right. But actually the ones I met didn't have, I mean, I knew people who pimped, I knew people who, but for the better term of hoe. But however, these women didn't have a pimp. They voluntarily did that because they made.
That's different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
No, but you said pimps. If they don't have anyone to pimp them out, then they're not being pimped out.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
No, you didn't say that. You said pimps and hoes.
Yeah,
so
doesn't mean. Well, it doesn't mein I knew the same people. That there was like two different people though. So
no, I understand that, but I'm saying if they're. That's why I said if they have a pimp, and that's why they look at us. That's like giving them glory. And then as a hoe who is being pimped out, if you can't be pimped out if you don't have a pimp. But I'm saying, but when you use the analogy of pimps and hoes going together, okay, I'll fix it. If you use the analogy of pimps and hoes, then you're suggesting that there is a pimp in the mix. You see what I'm saying? So therefore,
actually, that's where the word "and" comes from, meaning it's one or another.
No, or that's where "or" comes. No. Or that's where the word "or" pimps and hoes. That's where because you need a pimp will need a hoe. So pimps and hoes, not pimps and or. If it's pimps and or, then yeah, it'll be singular, but not just pimps and like. There you go. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah,
what,
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But well, anyways, that's what I'm
if they're
saying.
doing it on their own, they just doing it on their own. But if
But that's
they got someone, if they got, but you weren't saying that, but they got someone over them, that's different. That's very different, and not everybody wants to be in that and do that.
right.
You know, it's
I get that. But you know, but let me tell you something. Them motherfuckers so treacherous. These motherfuckers so treacherous though. They won't do it to their mothers, their daughters, or anything like that. But they'll do it with their so-called their so-called daughters' friends, and the mother's friends, the father's friends, and shit.
no, some will pimp out their own kids.
Well, yeah,
I've seen that happen too.
well, I have seen a case where the father was pimping out the mother and the daughter, and that was an episode of Law and Order SVU that was based upon that story was based upon a real life thing that happened.
Yeah.
Which I was like, hold on, bro, hold on, what the fuck is going on here? How the fuck can you pimp your own mother? How the fuck can you pimp your own mother and your sister? That's
some people would literally look at people as money, as income, rather than looking at them as a human being.
Now that's fucked up, dude. I would never do no bullshit like that.
I don't know how we got on this topic.
Well, because I was telling you about the things they was doing to her children. That's like same.
Oh, you saying that was similar?
Yeah,
yes,
that's similar. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. How the fuck she get that in her head? It's something that's real. That's a deep seated type thing, though. You know what I'm saying?
But we don't know her background. We don't know how she was raised, and then on top of that, we did say that she's a narcissist too.
That's what I'm saying. But here's the thing.
that kind of all plays together.
Here's the thing, though. Narcissism is a taught trait, though. You know what I'm saying? Yes, narcissism is not something that you're born with. That's a taught trait, though, man. Because
then that goes to how she was raised.
Right. I mean, but
and then her being a narcissist.
But again, what can be? What do I say? What can be learned can always be unlearned.
It's gonna take years for her.
Yeah,
it can be, but and then on top of that, she damaged the whole entire family. She damaged her husband. She damaged all her kids, and naturally herself.
You know, I wouldn't be. You know what? I'm going to say this. I wouldn't be surprised that I won't surprise their daughters die virgins, though, man, because they would not be able to trust another man, though. You know what I'm saying? And they won't be lesbians because they wouldn't be lesbians because they wouldn't be able to.
Their mother did it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Their mother did it. So why would they not trust a man?
But here's the thing, though. They might trust him. They might trust a man. But here's the thing, though. You know, you heard what he said, right? He could have stopped at any time, but he did. I'm not gonna trust anybody who can't stop something that you know is going on, that you know what's wrong, but you knew you had the power to stop it, but you did.
But her mother had the power. Her mother had the power of everything. You know what I'm saying? And those kids were young to where they more likely been brainwashed to thinking that it's okay. You know, they're gonna need a lot of therapy, a lot of help. The whole family.
Yeah.
Man, and I don't know.
Crazy, dude. This is crazy.
They get the help they need.
Man, I hope so, man.
Ellie, that's gonna fall.
This ain't.
Yeah.
I think
it's broke now.
Rather than focusing on the task at hand, forced smile and twisted expression of confusion when her children didn't answer in the way she wanted them to. It felt like one more nail in the